Welcome back to Gems Addiction. I'm so glad you all came back to see me today. And on this particular episode, I really wanted to highlight a band that is kind of near and dear to my heart for a couple of reasons. One, because I think they're an awesome band, and I really love their style of punk, pop punk, ska punk music. And another, because they originated in my hometown of Lafayette, Indiana, and I could not be more proud. And this particular episode was brought in light because they have reissued a 30th anniversary of their original album as Squirtgun, which was the self-titled Squirtgun. And I just happened to get my special edition copy. And I thought it would be kind of fun just to maybe give a brief overview of the band and what I know, highlight this wonderful record and maybe another one that I just picked up too that I alluded to on one of my previous episodes, and just kind of give you guys a snapshot of Squirtgun and why I think they're so cool and why I think maybe you should give them a listen if you're into punk music, ska music, or pop punk music, as I call it, and you haven't heard them before. There is a chance that maybe you have. They were kind of championed by Billy Joe Armstrong back in 1995. They have a song called Social, which happens to be on this record. And that song is in the opening sequence to the Kevin Smith movie Mallrats. So that was pretty cool. And I think that song is actually pretty appropriate for that particular movie. They go on later, I think, when they were wanting to do a sequel to Mallrats. I think there had been quite a scuttle in town where everyone found out that Kevin Smith was trying to reach the band but didn't know how, and using other forms of like Twitter or social media to get a hold of them, kind of tracked him down to ask if they could reuse Social or do an update for Social for the movie. So I thought that was really super cool. They're just fun. They're a fun band. I think they are a lot more. This album, a lot of it is very much more punk driven, but the last couple of tracks on it are definitely more of a ska vibe, and I love that about them. So to kind of give you a brief overview before I jump in too fast, besides that, Squirtgun originally, to me, was not always Squirtgun. It was a wonderful group of guys I went to high school with, and their band name was Rattail Grenadier. They started as teenagers in the early 90s. This is one of their tapes. There is another one out there. I think I'll show a picture of it. I have an original copy of one of their first tapes. It has a wonderful song on it called Jefferson Uber Alice. If any of you are out there and you know me and you're from my area and you went to the same clubs I did and listened to Rattail Grenadier, you know what I'm talking about. But it was like an anthem, an angsty anthem about our high school. So I thought that was always fun. I can't find my tape anywhere. I hope I can. But just so much fun. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful group of guys. They end up kind of forming, this is one of their first band t-shirts. I still happen to have mine. I used it even as a seat cover in my 1971 red Volkswagen. But it was brothers, Flav and Mas Giorgini, Dan Lumley, and Matt Hart. Matt was the singer, Flav on guitar, bass is Maz, and drums is Dan. And just the most fun, nicest guys. Dan was always such a fun guy to be around. We were in marching bands together. We had a lot of musical taste. He was definitely, I remember being quite an Iron Maiden fan, but just a stellar drummer, even in high school and beyond. I always said when I wanted drum lessons, I would want Dan to teach me how to play drums. I think he is just so energetic, and his drumming is tight. I think he just keeps that beat going, and he pairs up so nicely with Maz. And so during the Rattail Grenadier years, it definitely was, a little bit more punk kind of styling, but they always did have that ska element that they kind of bring to the next level, which I love. They talk at length in a wonderful booklet that comes with this 30th anniversary record. It gives you liner notes, and there's a wonderful, wonderful piece written by Maz there in the lighter shirt in the center. Their father, Aldo, was such an integral part of their musical life. He was a very smart man, a I think he had a double doctorate in engineering, worked at Purdue University, which is kind of the background of, the university era, and probably the influence that we had, being lucky enough probably in the 80s to grow up in a university town, a little bit more diverse, where other forms of music might not, may have overshined punk music. Their father was embracing their energy and their desire to create that kind of music, and helped them to open a club there called Spud Zero. If any of you are from that area, if any of you had been to Spud Zero, I know a couple of you have. Spud Zero was like nothing else. It was the closest we probably would have ever gotten to being able to go to like a CBGB style club. You've got all sorts of wonderful underground and punk bands. I saw Operation Ivy there. Even on this list, there was a local band called Gadfly, which I still to this day I absolutely love. Just Slaughterhouse Five was another local band at the times. I think Young Lords was another one that was playing. So if any of you are from that area, some of you out there, I know you are. We all hung out together. You can leave some comments below about our time at Spud Zero. I would love reminiscing about that time. Makes me incredibly happy. It was such a joyful time, such an experimental time, and just a ton of fun for sure. I can't say enough good things about it, but what was awesome was we saw Rattail Grenadier form into, by 1994-95, into what became Squirtgun. And then they sort of took their sound to the next level. Maz was also able to open up a recording studio called Sonic Iguana. He still runs that today. He lives in Italy. And some of this, I think, was remastered in Sonic Iguana Studios, as it says on the sticker on the front, Jen. But in Italy, just so awesome. And to know that kind of music was being made in my hometown, it was absolutely fantastic. If any of you are familiar with, any of you have ever heard of Lafayette, besides Purdue University, a couple other of note musicians, Axl Rose from Guns N' Roses, they came from Lafayette. He went to the same high school that I went to, although a couple years ahead. Shannon Hoon of Blind Melon was also from Lafayette. And Shannon was a wonderful singer and a really nice guy. I mean, Blind Melon was a fantastic band, but at those moments in the 80s, I wasn't listening to that music as much, although I would go on to listen to it. You can't help but have a little hometown pride, right? But to me, Squirtgun was like the cream of the crop, to know that Lafayette was creating and producing influential punk music in a time when it was either East Coast or West Coast. And to think that it all happened, and the genesis of some of it was happening in my own backyard, still thrills me to no end to this day. They would go on to do their first album, 1995, Squirtgun. There's an EP called Shenanigans that has a few other songs on it that did not make the cut onto this record. This record stays a little bit more to a true punk sort of sound, with the last couple of songs having that ska ebb and feel to it, like I'd mentioned before. I think Shenanigans pulls some of that music in, that they did not end up putting on the record. So you get Social, which is on the Mallrats soundtrack, is also on this record. And then eventually by 96, they do a song called Maryann. So if any of you are from the MTV generation, you might remember a little punk rock video by a band called Squirtgun that had Maryann in it, from Gilligan's Island. So just absolutely so fun to see that on MTV. And to know that they got her to come and do that video, I think was just quite a scream in and of itself. They do in 97 their second album, which is called Another Sunny Afternoon. And I believe those first albums were put out by Lookout Records, which were very influential with Operation Ivy, very influential in the careers, I believe, of Green Day as well. So they were sort of in the mix of what was happening with pop punk music at that time, and working with some amazing people. And they would turn around to continue to work with them as they moved forward in their careers and musical careers. And they also do an album called Fade to Bright in 2003. And I was really lucky enough to see them reunite in this original grouping back in Lafayette for February of 2008. They do a live album that's issued. I have excerpts on it on my Spotify playlist. It's called Broadcast. It's 020908. So it's from that live show. It was like such a fun night. I had not been to a local live concert like that in a really, really long time. By that time, I was in my, I probably would have been, I was in my late 30s. I had 2 little kids at home, and to get to break out for the night and sort of just relive my roots would have been great. I would have taken my older son with me, I think, that night. He was really starting to get into punk rock music then too, but it was not an all-age venue show, unfortunately, and he couldn't come. But just such fun memories. So I posted a few songs on my Spotify account, again, from that live show, because I'm having a hard time, aside from social, finding outtakes from this album on Spotify to be able to kind of share with you guys. So if you can track them down, I would definitely highly recommend doing so. And the cool thing about this record also is the fact that when they reissue it, I got the limited edition. So this is a splatter, kind of put the black behind it so you can see it a little bit. So there's your, splatter clear. I think they had a non-splatter version. And then this is the B-side. They end up getting Mike Dirnt from Green Day does, I think, some backing vocals, maybe, or guitar. Maybe it's guitar work on this particular album, and Maz configures it. And I also believe he said that this song, I think it's Getting Glum, was not on the original one, but is now on this one. But I think it's just fantastic. Headache All Day and Frederick's Frost are 2 of my absolute favorites besides Social. But Long So Long kicks off this album. And I mean, just from the absolute onset, it is just like I always remembered it. And even though, they've kind of tweaked things, it's such a crisp, clear, clean sound. And I guess I should mention too, when you order this particular grouping, it came with 2 stickers, and then I had to, because I really wanted the pin, which is probably not good for this very vintage shirt, but I couldn't resist. So I've got the little squirt gun dude on my shirt. But as I was saying, it is a nice, clear recording. It sounds great. And the songs flow from one to another in such a great pace. It's like being at a show. And that's one of the things that I love the most about it. So you get that fun, you get that energy. You can really hear every nuance and detail of them playing, which I absolutely love. There's the back. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a ton of fun, you guys. If you love punk music, if you're not familiar with Squirtgun, such a history. I'm not even going to be able to do it justice to have time to go through every nuance, but they are, they go on to form other bands. Dan and Maz will end up pairing up with, oh my gosh, it is the singer from Jesse Michaels from Operation Ivy, and he will play guitar and sing on Common Writer. And this is just, oh my gosh, I love this album so much. I mean, Classic of Love is just like, once it kicks off, and it just has that ska energy that I absolutely love from like The Clash and Rancid and I could just go on and on. But I mean, one of my absolute favorites, I don't even think if I wrote it down. I was trying to think. Here We Go Again was my favorite Operation Ivy song. And it just has that kind of feel. This is a reissue. The original one was this color yellow, and it had that sort of blue purple color as the inset. And there is Dan, and there is Maz, and there is Jesse. And so this particular copy gives you the liner notes and everything when the for the lyrics for the song. And what I really love is, like, and I don't know whose cat this is. Maybe it's Dan's cat. You can't really appreciate it quite as much. It is a purple marbled vinyl. So that's side one. And then their hairless cat sleeping is side two. So it's just super cute. I thought that was pretty clever. But I just absolutely re-listening to these two records in the last several weeks has just been a real joy. I love this style of music so much. And I could not, like, again, and I know I'm kind of gushing, but I really could not be more proud to know that Squirtgun is home base for me. And it feels like home and it sounds like home. And they're just the nicest people. Wonderful people, accomplished people. They've all went on to do more music with other bands, staying active in music, as well as getting doctorates, doing things with literature and poetry and neurology and music and art and just wonderful stuff. So they do Common Writer. Members of the band also go on to perform in the Riverdales, the Descendants, Screeching Weasel, the Mopes, the Queers. Dan sits in and does drum work on one or two Queer songs, I think. And just extremely fun. Like I said, I'm not able to get all of these songs from this record on Spotify, but I did find the live record. I post the link there to that. Just the best. And the liner notes, again, if you happen to pick this record up or you get to look at a copy, I just have to say, Maz, if you're watching, just such a beautiful tribute to your dad. I can't say enough. I was not on a first name basis or anything with their father, nothing like that, but he was a constant and a presence. We all knew that he was supportive, he was smart, he was kind, he wanted to see his sons and their friends succeed in music, and it showed in everything that they did. And him helping with Spud Zero, probably being an integral part with Sonic Iguana, being there to kind of, help care for the merch tables at their shows, whatever it would be, their dad was there. And I just think that is such a testament to how they live their lives today and the character of men that they are. They're just wonderful guys. They were always great friends, great to me. And I still get such a joy when we get to correspond from time to time and catch up on our daily lives. Most of them are living in other parts of the country now. Every now and then I go back home. I will see Dan from time to time. And I just always brings a smile to my face. So with that being said, if you have not versed yourself in the pop punk ska fun that is Squirtgun, I would highly recommend it. The limited edition might be sold out, but I would definitely, just Google it, look it up. You can find it. They have their own website. It gives links for purchase and everything that they do. I just happened to pick this copy up at a record store in Lafayette. I can leave links below to some of their information. If you ever give them a call, they'll probably set you up too. But just a ton of fun. If any of you guys have any similar stories, bands that you remember from the ground up, people in your lives that artistically and musically inspired you, I would love to hear about it, because it was just such a fun time for me musically. And that era shaped me. Actually, I think I mentioned in a previous episode that I first heard the band Skinny Puppy on my way to a punk rock show. It was a Rattail Grenadier show, sponsored show at Spud Zero in Lafayette. And that's how tight a lot of this stuff is in memory and importance to me and my development musically and as a person. So forever grateful to their father for helping them to have that club and to be such a presence, because it changed a lot of our lives for the best. And so grateful. An amazing time in my life. If you were from Lafayette, and I know, like I said, that you guys are out there, you can chime in below. Let me know any of your fun stories. It's like dizzying to think of all the things that we saw and got to do there and the cool bands. It's such an amazing time. And please, again, if you weren't, put your comments below if you have similar experiences, because I love to hear those too. Or maybe some other punk bands that some of us may not be familiar with. So again, I think if you do a little bit of studying on Squirtgun, Common Rider, you're going to find some links to some more amazing, amazing music that I just think you're absolutely going to fall in love with. So until next time, I hope you guys are spinning some great tunes, that you're kind of starting a little punk revolution of your own in whatever way is fun for you. And we'll come back and see me next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.